Good morning, and welcome to Interact Atlanta. Since 1990, nearly 5 million Americans have died from cancer. This year, more than 1 million new cases will be diagnosed. While the statistics are sobering, a new crop of genetically engineered drugs are offering hope to patients fighting the disease.
Everything was fine. Everything was good. Now there's only rubble.
For Tom Willner, music is a metaphor for life.
My life has changed, lost my footing, my bed.
After a near fatal bout with testicular cancer, he knows just how precious life can be.
How could this be?
I think right before my last operation and chemotherapy, I think I really started to face my own mortality. At that point, I had no clue whether it was a death sentence or not.
Willner survived his ordeal with cancer, but still carries the scars of 3 operations and agonizing memories of his chemotherapy treatments.
I started taking it, doing a journal early on in the whole experience, and I remember looking back and reading one of my journal entries that said, "This is horrible. I can't stand this. I feel terrible. If I could just be unconscious, I'd be so much better off." I really kind of felt like I was experiencing a little bit of what it'd be like to be dying.
For many cancer patients, chemotherapy is the best option for controlling their disease. But despite its effectiveness, most patients who undergo chemotherapy must also endure the side effects.
Chemotherapy is just a long word for giving drugs to, we hope, kill cancer cells. So that the way it works is you see a patient, you define what the cancer is, and you know from your experience and all the research which drugs work. What we've seen over the last 10 years, however, has been just a real explosion of new chemotherapy drugs, and so it's very exciting times now.
If you had to get the diagnosis of cancer, this is the most promising moment in the history of medicine for lots of new treatment.
Doctors are optimistic about a new class of cancer drugs called monoclonal antibody therapies. Most current cancer therapies are indiscriminate, killing both cancer and normal cells. But monoclonal antibodies can be designed to guide the chemotherapy medications directly to cancer cells, eliminating tumors while avoiding serious damage to other non-cancerous cells.
For some cancers, we're learning the way to attack, rather than weed killer in a field of grass, are actually to drop smart bombs in that are very, very, very specific and only kill each individual weed and leave the next door blade of grass completely alone. What it means for cancer patients is that most of the smart bombs will not have the side effects that our conventional chemotherapy have.
Still in clinical trial, new drugs like Herceptin are helping breast cancer patients fight the disease and maintain a normal life.
To be honest, I dreaded the chemotherapy much more than I dreaded the surgery. But during the chemo, actually, other than the first, few days or whatever, I was perfectly fine, and I could keep my normal schedule. And the Herceptin, has no effects at all on my lifestyle. I mean, I'm able to do everything that I could do before.
5 years ago, there were about 100 medicines that were in clinical development for cancer. 9 out of 10 of those looked like a 20th century cancer killer, which might have severe side effects. Right now, in clinical development, there are 400 new medicines, but maybe only 1 in 10 would have even the projected side effects that we're used to.
To be able to offer options to someone who has a new cancer, whose cancer has recurred, to have to sit down and say, your cancer has recurred, but we've got some things we can do, and there's a chance that we can help you and extend your life, make your life better, and in some cases offer the chance for a cure. I mean, that's just, it's hard to describe how that feels.
Until every last case of cancer is cured, we're not where we ought to be. My children will not know what polio even is or what a polio summer is or anything, and I'm hopeful that they'll raise children who won't really know what cancer is, except for some incredibly long chapter in medical history textbooks. So we're getting there, but we're not there yet.
Tom Willner knows the human toll of cancer and hopes that one day doctors will cure the disease that changed his life forever.
I don't think anything challenged me as much as dealing with cancer. It taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about myself and a lot about how I should be approaching life, mostly because it makes you think about not having that anymore. So it means an awful lot to be a survivor, a cancer survivor.
For more information on the treatment and prevention of cancer, you can log on to the American Cancer Society's website at cancer.org.